friendship that'll never ever end.
Run!
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction Beanie 0783. Tight in that neighborhood. My brothers and sisters. It is that time of the week, once again, my friends, for another reaction suggestion Friday. RSF number 8 Bean Team. Hope y'all doing excelente out there today. And I'm glad that you came on back to the channel once again to help with the bean. Now, as y'all can see, I have the YouTube random comment picker thingamajiggy already loaded. And we're about to pick a winner. In 5, 4, 3, 2. And the winner is Lovely Galaxy 4541. Shout out to my girl Lavi, man. Lavi says, oh wow, didn't realize that Nexpo did one on this case, but I'll have to watch this later along with you and see if he gives more info than I remember. Now, Lavi, I don't know where you seen the Solder Children, because she's talking about the Solder Children. If you know, you know. If you don't know, go back to last Friday, Reaction Suggestion Friday, and watch that video. But I don't know where you watched it from, Lavi, but all I know is that Nexpo did a great freaking job covering that case. And it's just one of those ones where I really don't know what the F happened to the Solder Children. And also, Lavi says, didn't comment last time, but I do still recommend the Junko Furuta case by Dial Trip. Now I'm very excited to get into this one, y'all, because it has been a while since we last went to Kyle from Dial Trip. So we're about to do that right freaking now. And I will be right back. All right, Bean Team, we are back. And we're about to get into the video. And the title of it is The Junko Furuta Case in Complete Detail. Now, I don't know who the freak of Junko Furuta is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they did. I don't know nothing about this case, Bean Team. But if my girl Lavi suggested that I react to it, I'm pretty sure it's about to be crazy. And I'm ready to see. But before we see, Bean Team, y'all know what y'all got to do. Get whatever you may need. Get what you need, please. It has been a while since we last went back to Kyle. Y'all got what y'all need. Y'all ready to go? Then let's go.
One of the most common suggestions to make a video about, and one of the most common questions on Q&As that I get, is what is the most horrific case I've ever heard of? It's a case that I'm sure a lot of you have heard of by now, but I'm not sure if you've ever heard about it in complete, gruesome detail.
Get whatever you may need.
This is the story of Junko Furuta, widely considered to be one of the worst crimes ever committed in human history. So for the love of God, please don't watch this if you're sensitive to extreme violence, especially of the sexual variety. Trust me. Junko Furuta was a young woman who was born in Misato in the Saitama prefecture of Japan. Her family consisted of a mother, father, an older brother, and a younger brother. She attended high school at a school in Saitama while working part-time at a plastic molding factory after school. She was saving up for a big graduation trip she was planning. She was all set up to start working at an electronics store after she graduated. She was fairly popular and well liked by her classmates. She had great grades and was hardly ever absent. She was active, attractive, and attracted a lot of attention, which made some people jealous. She didn't drink, didn't smoke, and definitely never touched any drugs. This made her seem very lame in the eyes of the thugs around the school, the Yakuza wannabes. One of the boys in this group was named Hiroshi Miyano. He actually developed a bit of a crush on her and wanted to get physical with her. He proposed this and she refused. Hiroshi was a pretty big bully in this school, one of the only ones actually involved with the younger members of the Yakuza at the time. Usually, nobody dared defy him. He couldn't believe that Junko actually had the gall to turn him down. Hiroshi did not take this well at all. He couldn't believe that anyone would ever reject him. He took it as a complete and total insult. He got together with a few of his wannabe Yakuza buddies and they all hatched a plan to get revenge on Junko. They would get another one of their friends to attack Junko, and then Hiroshi would come to the rescue.
Hold on, man. Plot freaking twist, Bean Team. Plot twist. I was reading the title and thinking about this video completely wrong, y'all. Now I know I was saying Junko, but it's Junko. The Junko Furuta case. I'm thinking that Junko was the one who did some crazy-ish, but come to find out some crazy-ish about to be done to her. Plot twist. Just in my brain, Bean Team, because I was thinking about this completely different. Let's find out what these dudes end up doing to her.
He won a bit of her trust. They could take her wherever they wanted. On November 25th of 1988, Junko was riding her bike home from her part-time job when an unknown boy attacked her and knocked her off of her bike. The boy who liked her, Hiroshi Miyano, was conveniently across the street while the whole thing happened. He came to Junko's aid and scared off the random boy. He then offered to escort her home. Everything seemed to be going as planned. While Junko didn't actually trust him, it seemed better than the alternative of possibly being attacked again. She didn't have any idea that Hiroshi harbored any sort of hatred towards her. She wouldn't have imagined that he would be planning anything like this. Hiroshi took Junko into an abandoned warehouse and revealed his Yakuza connections to her. He then took his time raping her over and over. Then he took her to a hotel. In the hotel, he called his friends, Joe Ogura and Yasushi Watanabe. From then on, he and his 3 friends took turns assaulting her. Unfortunately, this was not their first time doing this, as they had just recently done it to another girl in the past few weeks. They decided that they were having far too much fun to just set her free again. There was also the possibility that she would call the cops and tell them what happened, and they couldn't have that.
And it's so crazy that we didn't got to this point, y'all, all because she rejected him at freaking school. All because she said, no, I don't want to give you my number or whatever. And to the point where not only he's sexually assaulting her, he done kidnapped her. He got his friends in on the ish doing the same type ish. And I'm pretty sure we just getting started with what is going on type of moments. I'm pretty sure it's about to get even darker. We only 4 minutes into the video. Let's go.
The next morning, Hiroshi took Junko to a nearby park, where Joe, Yasushi, and a 4th boy, Nobuharu Minato, were waiting. They learned Junko's address and used it to threaten her, telling her that they would kill her entire family if she tried to get away. The 4 teenage boys then took her back to Minato's parents' home, where they continued to assault her. This is where, for 42 more days, she would be held prisoner. On the 3rd day that Junko was missing, her parents were dealing with the police, trying to get her found. Knowing this would happen, the captors made her call her parents and tell them that she had run away and was staying with a friend, safe and sound. She was forced to ask her mom to stop the investigation. They held Junko captive in the bedroom, forcing her to pose as one of the boys' girlfriend. It didn't take long for the parents to realize that this was a lie. Eventually, they dropped the whole girlfriend act altogether, as it was very clear that they weren't going to get in any trouble. Immediately after arriving at the home, the boys forced Junko into becoming their toy. They beat her relentlessly and raped her countless times a day, often taking turns. They were proud of what they were doing, regularly boasting to their friends that they had a woman trapped and ready for their personal use. They invited a load of their friends to come over and have their way with her. In the first few days, at least 30 of them raped her, and at least 100 knew of her imprisonment. Even women.
My God, man. What the elf, dude? We been past too far, but it's like we going too far. You know what I'm saying, Bean Team? Like, the sexual assault was crazy to me from the jump with just the first one. And then it went to like 4 more, his closest friends. Now it's just anybody in the neighborhood. Like, what the elf? This is crazy that this issue's happening to this girl, man. Let's keep going.
Were invited to come see the spectacle, with a young girl even being invited to come over and see the prisoner, who then took a pen and doodled on her face. By the day 7 mark, Junko had been already completely stripped of all of her humanity. She was forced to be naked at all times and was constantly beaten and humiliated. They would shove her into the freezer for hours when they were bored with her, only pulling her out when they wanted to assault her again. Nobuharu Minato's brother and parents were living in the same house that she was being held in. His brother did nothing, aside from informing him that Junko might die at this rate. His parents were afraid to intervene, as they had seen Nobuharu's violent nature firsthand. They also knew of his association with the Yakuza and feared of their possible retaliation. And most disgustingly, they worried about losing their good reputation in the community. After about 10 days of this torture, Junko's body was already starting to fail her. Because of the ongoing, endless beatings, so much blood had accumulated in her sinuses that she could no longer breathe through her nose.
Damn.
Her digestive system was also beginning to refuse food and water. If she attempted to eat or drink anything, she would instantly vomit. This also led to severe dehydration. Anytime she would vomit, her attackers would get angry and beat her even further. A vicious cycle that had no end in sight. When the nights got even colder, she was forced to sleep on the balcony of the home in extreme cold temperatures, sometimes near or below freezing. Eventually, one of the men that the attackers would invite over to the house to see Junko would go on to tell someone else about her, his brother. This brother of his ended up informing the police about what was going on at the Minato house. 2 officers were soon dispatched to go check things out. Minato's parents came to the door. When the police explained the situation, the parents simply responded that there was no girl in the house. The police took it at face value, thanked them, and left, without ever bothering to check even a single detail.
Nah, fuck this shit. Them damn parents need, y'all, we at the cussing part too, if y'all don't know yet, Bean Team. Fuck that shit. Them damn parents need to get the same charges that how many that was sexually assaulting or abusing her, they need to get the same length of time in prison, or maybe even more. I don't give a damn. Lock all of them up for the rest of their life at this point, Bean Team. Like, that's just how I feel right now in this moment, because it's peeing me off that it would be this large group of people. I'm talking about a lot of people who end on the torture and the assaulting and pretty much leading to the death of this woman. And ain't not one soul did nothing other than one of the brothers of one of the dudes who was doing this ish to her called the police. And then they called the police, and then the goddamn parents just lie once again. Like, they just, let's go.
After 20 days of torture, Junko was rendered completely unable to walk. She had had lighter fluid poured on her legs and set on fire, leaving her with severe burns. Her legs had also been targeted so severely during the beatings that they were left with severe muscle damage. She was unable to grip anything with her hands anymore, as they had been smashed with dumbbells to the point where her bones were crushed and her fingernails were shattered. Some nights later, the attackers got more rowdy than usual and ended up drinking too much. Junko took this as a chance to try to escape. She crawled down the stairs from the bedroom and reached the phone downstairs. She picked up the phone and began to call the police. The phone rang, and an officer picked up. Just as she was about to speak, Hiroshi came up behind her and grabbed the phone from her hands. He put the receiver to his ear and said, "I dialed by mistake," hanging up the phone. She was then pulled back into the bedroom. She was in complete terror as she would obviously be severely punished for this. And she was correct. They punished her by holding her down and taunting her by waving a candle's flame all around her. Then they covered her entire body, mainly her legs, in lighter fluid and set her on fire once more. Afterwards, she started convulsing. The boys told everyone that she was faking it and set her on fire once again, only to put it out shortly after. Somehow, she survived. From this point on, she began begging her captors to just kill her and be done with it. They wouldn't grant her that favor. After being set on fire, they discovered a new way to torture her. The boys would hold her head against the concrete while the others would jump on it. One can only imagine what kind of pain and damage this would have caused. After about 30 days, Junko was no longer able to urinate properly. She had suffered severe damage to her genitals after they had been burned with cigarette lighters.
Oh!
She also had various foreign objects inserted into her, many sharp and jagged. Even fireworks had been inserted into her. The fireworks were not limited to only one orifice, as they were also inserted into her anus, mouth, and ears as well. She was left with eardrum damage so severe that she was nearly deaf at this point. Her hands and feet were so damaged that she could hardly move. At best, she could crawl. It took her over an hour to crawl to the bathroom.
Oh my God, Bean Team and Dive Troop just going on and on with this crazy shit that we listening to. Like, this shit is just getting, like, it is at the point where it's almost like I just have to believe that at the end of this video, Dive Troop gonna be like, April Fools, or I was just playing, this is a joke, this is a fictional story, this didn't actually happen to anybody. Do y'all hear the torture that's going on to this girl? I'm not gonna even repeat none of it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of it. And all of it is crazy. Boy, Dive Trip, man, god damn, dude. He said at the beginning, but he gave us a fair warning. Y'all can hear the high pitchness in my voice, Bean Team. This shit here is fucking crazy. Long story short, short story long.
Report showed that her brain size was greatly reduced by this point in time. Due to her hellish appearance, the boys no longer found her attractive. They used the same strategy again to abduct and gang rape another 19-year-old woman while she was on her way home from work. During these 44 days of hell, Junko Furuta was forced to withstand the most unspeakable torture and suffering that a person can imagine. Some of what was done to her includes being raped many times every single day, day and night, in all orifices. More than 100 men are believed to have raped her by the end. Sometimes she was raped by up to 12 different attackers in a single day. Constant humiliation. She was forced to be left naked most of the time. Many of the men who raped her also urinated on her. She was forced to pleasure herself in front of the attackers for their entertainment. She was beaten physically every day. She was beaten with golf clubs, iron rods, bamboo sticks, and various other objects. She had dumbbells dropped all over her body and her head stomped against the ground, face first. She had hot wax poured all over her face with a focus on her eyelids. Her eyelids were also burned with cigarettes and cigarette lighters. She was violated with a long list of various objects shoved into all orifices, including but not limited to bottles, both broken and unbroken, iron bars, scissors, roasting needles, chicken skewers, and more. She was given only the strict bare minimum of food and water. At times, she was forced to eat cockroaches and drink urine. She had fireworks put into all of her orifices, leaving damage and severe burns. She had her left nipple ripped off by a pair of pliers. She would be tied up flat on the floor and had dumbbells dropped all over her body. The drops on her abdomen were so hard that it caused her to lose all control of her bowels. She was hung from the ceiling and used as a punching bag. She was shoved into a freezer and kept there for hours at a time. Her eyelids were burned with hot wax and lighters when she closed her eyes in fear. Her breasts were stabbed with sewing needles, the needles often being left inside. Her genitals were burned with cigarettes and lighters.
He just keep going, bro. He just keep going, my brothers and sisters. He hasn't stopped yet with the craziness with this. Man, like, I'm serious, man. Like, this gotta be fake, man. Like, I guess at the same time, if I really keep it real, Bean Team, it is some effed up ass humans out here who would do something like this to a person. If we just being real about the fact of life.
She had a hot, lit light bulb inserted into her vagina and moved around until it shattered. By the end, she looked like a completely different person after all of the damage. It was hard to even make out her facial features. Her body was severely damaged and crippled, and she smelled as if she were already rotting. She was continuously heavily bleeding from her genitals from all of the abuse. She wheezed heavily, struggling to breathe from all of the blood accumulated in her sinuses. And
hold on real quick. I gotta say this right now while I'm thinking about it, Bean Team. And I'm being serious, man, when I say this. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or nothing like that. I gotta give a shout out to Junko for being able to take all this abuse. This sound like we done got 100 different abuses in this damn story that she had to endure, and she is still breathing. I'm serious, man. I just gotta give her props for that. For being able to take all this. And we can all understand why at this particular point, she like, just please go on, kill me. I'd rather be dead than keep going through this. But her body, her soul, her whatever you want to call it, God, whoever, whatever, she is going. She is not stopping yet. I gotta like give her kudos for being able to go through all this. Cause me personally, Being Team, I think I've been dead a long time ago. And I ain't even being funny when I say that. Let's go.
40, January 1st, Junko woke up to New Year's Day alone. She spent the day begging to be killed, completely unable to move. 3 days later, on the fateful day of the 4th of January, the boys challenged Junko to a game of Mahjong Solitaire and forced her to play. Somehow, even in her condition, she won the game. This infuriated her captors, who treated her to a severe beating with an iron barbell, and then poured lighter fluid all over her arms, her legs, her stomach, and finally her face, dumping lighter fluid even into her eyes.
Okay, at this point, now y'all trying to kill her, like, personally. Well, y'all been trying to kill her. But this gotta be, like, the final blow right here. Like, seriously, like, now y'all at the point where, man, we gonna kill this Junko for beating us in a damn card game, dice game, whatever kind of game it was.
Then they put a candle to her face, igniting it all. She weakly attempted to put out the flames, but didn't have the strength to do so. This final torture lasted for a grueling 2 hours altogether. Already having been in a horrible condition, Junko went into shock and finally died the following day. Minato's brother called him within 24 hours to inform him that Junko had died. The boys all rushed over to the house in a panic. Fearing what would certainly be a life sentence, or even a death sentence, the boys started to freak out. But they came up with a plan. The captors then put her body into a 55-gallon oil drum and filled it to the brim with concrete. A small bit of Junko's long hair was poking out the top of the concrete, something they apparently didn't notice. They disposed of the barrel at a construction site in Koto, Tokyo. Seeing that place now, you'd never imagine something like this was buried there. There was originally a good chance that the police would never find out who did this. There weren't any clues to go on. Luckily, Hiroshi is a moron. While he was being questioned by the police 2 weeks later involving their recent gang rape of the unrelated 19-year-old woman, he got confused and thought the police were talking about Junko, as the cases were so similar. And thinking that one of the other boys must have already confessed, he spilled the beans. He realized his mistake, but it was already too late, and he told the police where they had hid the body.
Good for your freaking ass. I'm glad you got caught that easily. You deserve to get caught. And I got to say this real quick too, Bean Team. I feel like everybody I'm talking about all 100+ people who sexually assaulted her, like everybody need to be held accountable for a long time, almost like, and I'm not, pretty much everybody get the same sentence, pretty much in prison. But we all know that's not going to happen at the end of the day.
Ogura had already been arrested for another unrelated sexual assault case. He was quickly also arrested for Junko's case as well. The other boys were then arrested within the next few days. Later, the drum was finally opened and the concrete was broke open, revealing Junko's long-deceased body in a nightmare-inducing, horrific condition. Junko's family was notified and told of what happened to her in detail. When her mother heard the details of what was done to her, she fainted. She ended up in a long-term stay in a psychiatric hospital. An autopsy was performed on Junko, revealing the true horror of what had happened to her. Small bottles were found still stuck in her rectal cavity, and it was revealed that she was pregnant, although the damage to her uterus was severe. Her face was so completely mutilated that she had to be identified by her fingerprints. Being that they were juveniles, the court withheld the names of the 4 captors. But journalists from Shukan Bunshin magazine were able to find out exactly who they were and publish the names of all of them, stating that they were inhuman and therefore didn't deserve human rights. Nobody really contested this. As we know, they were Hiroshi Miyano, 18 at the time, Joe Ogura, also 18 at the time, Nobuharu Minato, who was 16 at the time, and Yasushi Watanabe, who was 17. All 4 of these monsters were caught and sent to trial. During each trial, it was pretty common for onlookers to pass out upon hearing the details of the case. Even with all that they had done, they didn't really show any semblance of remorse. And despite all of this, they received extremely light sentences for such horrific crimes. They were actually still being tried as juveniles, but after much backlash, they were changed to adult status. Still, after being upgraded to adult status, they received unbelievably light sentences. Something that, to this day, continues to enrage people who hear about this case. The boys, somehow, were not charged with murder. Instead, they received a charge called causing bodily injury resulting in death. In Japan, the juvenile court system is far more focused on rehabilitation rather than punishment, something that you'll remember if you saw my Yukio Yamaji video. Usually this means that juveniles will end up getting relatively very low sentences. Hiroshi was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Minato got a 5 to 7 year sentence himself. Watanabe got 9 years, and Joe got an 8-year sentence.
Oh my fucking God, man. You just when you think this shit won't get no worse, it gets worse. And I know that ain't a word, but we using it today, Bean Team. This shit just got worse. Long story short, story long. What? They didn't get charged with murder, bodily injuries that lead to death. That's fucking murder. Long story short, short story long, man. And I had when we were listening to this story, I kind of like forgot that they were so young and teenagers and stuff. But rightfully so, they should be charged as adults. If you do some ish like this, I don't care what age is, because you know this is wrong, and you doing it for that long. Just had this damn girl locked up, kidnapped for 44 days, torturing her like this, and then 18, 19, man. And then other time, a 18 or 19-year-old want to walk around, yeah, I'm an adult. What 18, 19-year-old be saying, oh, I'm a little kid? No, when I was 18, 19, I thought I was grown as hell. And I'm pretty sure they thought they was grown as hell. So treat them like they was grown as hell, man. What the I'm almost hollering like I'm hollering at y'all, big team, like I'm scolding y'all for what this ish got going on. Like, what the man? Oh my God, dude. Just when you think it wouldn't get any worse, it got worse, sir. Slaps on the wrist. That's all they getting. Slaps on the wrist. You go do 5 years. You go do 8 years. Hiroshi, we'll give you 20 since you the ringleader. Like 20 or something, and he damn 18. He'll be out when he what? 28, 30. He'll be out when he 38 years old. Are you fucking kidding me?
One sad thing is that these monsters actually received even lower sentences than that at first. They were only increased to the still low amount after an appeal. It was so low that some people even questioned if their Yakuza ties were to blame for this. By the time of this recording, every single one of the 4 boys is out of jail and living free. 3 of them were in jail for less than 8 years. Hiroshi, the ringleader, was sentenced to 17 years originally. He tried to appeal, but as kind of a fuck you, the judge actually upped his case to 20 years. The same thing happened to 2 of the other boys, and after seeing enough, the 4th boy decided not to try to appeal. However, they all ended up getting out long before those sentences were actually up. And I bet you're wondering if they continued to commit crimes after they got out of jail. Well, let's see. After Nobuhara Minato got out of jail, he changed his first name to Shinji. He did this for obvious reasons. In 2006, he got married to a woman from Romania and had a daughter together. They soon divorced, and the wife ended up with custody of the child. Minato couldn't stay away from murder for too long. He was eventually arrested again for the attempted murder of a businessman. The man had noticed Minato staring at him, to which he asked, "What are you looking at?" Minato came over and punched the man. The man then got out of his car and a fight ensued. It escalated to the point that Minato took out a baton and beat him severely. As the victim tried to get back into his car, Minato slashed his neck with a knife he had hidden. The police were called at some point and they rushed to aid the victim. In the chaos, Minato escaped. He was soon caught and arrested. He denied attempted murder, saying he only intended to beat the man. The case is ongoing. Joe Ogura was released in August of 1999. He also ended up changing his name to Joe Kamisaku. He actually had the gall to brag about his role in the kidnap and torture. His father had vowed to give their entire life savings to Junko's family out of shame, but Joe ended up taking this money and using it for himself to live a fairly extravagant lifestyle. Joe's mother wasn't much better, as she actually vandalized Junko's grave, saying that it was Junko who ruined her son's life. Joe actually managed to find some women to date him. He ended up marrying a Chinese woman, but the marriage didn't last too long. Afterwards, he started dating another woman. He went back to prison in July 2004 for 7 years for beating a guy he thought was luring his girlfriend away from him. He had kidnapped and beaten the man for 4 hours. He proudly told the victim that he had killed before and would do it again. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison. But in 2009, he was once again free, and he is still free to this day. The ringleader, Hiroshi Miyano, went right back into his previous gang activity immediately after being released from prison. He was arrested for fraud at some point after this, but didn't see jail time for it. Right now, it seems that he's living a fairly normal life. Some might even say a good life. He is a regular patron at a local kickboxing gym and appears to have a normal social life. As of now, Yasushi Watanabe is the only one of the 4 boys who hasn't been arrested since. Because of that, it's not really known what he's been up to. Since the investigation first started, the police have been able to get DNA from the sperm and pubic hairs found in evidence to link several more criminals to the crime, including 2 men named Koichi Ihara and Tetsuo Nakamura, both of whom were arrested, and there are probably many others who have not been revealed to the public. It is unknown if they will all face any sort of charges. Time will tell. So there it is, the worst case I've ever heard of. I get this question a lot, and it's just always this one. There are a couple of others that come kinda close, but it's really hard to top something like this. I mean, you've got the brutality, the length, the scale. I mean, just... So asking if you like this video seems a little bit fucked up. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It helps me out. Although I doubt this video is going to really be pushed, but nah. If you like dark content like this, be sure to subscribe. I do a lot of it. And if you'd like to support this channel even further, I do have a Patreon page that's linked in the description. Speaking of which, shout out to my top patrons. David.
That's the end, Bean Team. Man, like, I can't even think of the man's name. Kyle, like Kyle said, man, hey, I ain't gonna say like the video, but if you like the video, but I hope you enjoyed it. And I think that's probably the best thing I can say. I enjoyed hearing about this story and knowing what really happened to Junko, but it gotta be one of the most fucked up stories I ever heard ever. What happened to somebody in real life, and just removing the whole torture thing away. And there was 100 different ways that lady got tortured. Just remove that. Let's just talk about the justice system. And I ain't even like dissing Japan or wherever this took place in Asia. I'm not even dissing them. All I'm just saying is I thank God I live in America. At least that our laws is better than that shit over there. I don't understand how these dudes, number one, was not ever even charged with murder. They got charged with some other bodily harm leading to death, some type of technicality ass charge. Like, that's number one. But it's also like, dude, it goes back to the point where I was saying, like, if they got charged, I feel like all those hundreds of men, how many ever it was of them, should also get charged and kind of get like the same freaking charges as them. Like, okay, we not gonna we gonna charge them all with sexual assault, but we not gonna charge them with the murders, but we still can charge them with torture or something. You know what I'm saying, Bean Team? In my mind, I'm thinking, boy, it's gonna be a lot of mother you know what's in jail behind this one, in prison for 25 to life. Gonna find out ain't nobody get 25 years. What the is going on around here, Bean Team? Like, come on, Japan or wherever y'all was, man. Y'all got to do better than that, man. These laws got to change. Because these young kids, these young teenagers, if it's a crazy group of teenagers out there and they know about this case and know about how those dudes virtually got away with it, you know what I'm saying? They went to jail for a little while, but they came out and they still young as hell and they know that they can get away with it. Man, they gonna keep doing this type ish, man. Like, and this last thing I'm gonna say, Bean T, I'm gonna let y'all go because there's a lot of other ish I can cover and say on this and this and this about. But this is the last thing I'm gonna say, man, and it's pertaining to what I was just saying. That's why I say, and I do feel like this, man, it may not be a 100% bulletproof method, so to speak, you know what I'm saying? No pun intended or whatever. But to just kind of like cut out a lot of these freaking murderers and these murderous people and just cut down on it a lot, the percentiles, make it where if you get found guilty of first degree murder, and I'm just being nice with the first degree. We could talk about second degree and man, we could talk about that, all that. But let's just stay on first degree murder. If you get found guilty of that ish, that's an automatic life sentence. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You ain't getting no 8, you ain't getting 9, you ain't getting 20, you ain't getting 25. You getting life in prison. And I think that really would cut down on murders. Just not in the United States or in Asia or Japan, but in the entire world, being team. Long story short story long. And I'm gonna let y'all go, man. Freaking wow. But before y'all go, being team, just please hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and do all that if you ain't did that yet. And remember this: love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.
If you're feeling lonely today, come along and throw your cares away. We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Run!